Hey guys, Dan Heilman here. This is going to be another Awaken Chaos Era video. This is going to be my Tulpa guide. So this is the Tulpa boss right here. I am currently fighting Tulpa 10, which is pretty difficult. I obviously have a full team of level 60s, so that makes this a little bit easier. But the main thing that goes on here is this boss puts up this huge shield and you have to break it quickly. If you do not break this shield within 2 turns, he will one-shot the entire team. It's a DPS check of sorts, right? So you must break the shield. We'll see right here. We're gonna get close here. You have 2 turns to break it. And there we go. We've broken the shield. He's not going to do that big AoE. He still does an AoE, but he doesn't. He'll straight up one-shot if you don't break the shield otherwise. So you can see this team here. This team I'm using right here for Tulpa 10 is probably like a 90% win, 80-90% win. So that's good enough for me for farming this. Obviously, the higher you go, the better rewards you get. 11 is really rough. So let me just finish this and let me just show you what I'm using and what I used in the beginning, which was a little bit easier, basically to clear. So I'll show you some of the heroes I'm using. So you saw I was using a healer in that, and I was actually using a negative affinity healer, right? That boss is wood. And he's water, so wood is strong against water. So he is basically going to be the tank. I tried it with level 50 Blackhorn, and it wasn't really working out for me. Let me just show you his gear. I basically went all HP. His healing is based on HP, if you see here. This character's abilities heal for 15% of max health. It also obviously helps him stay alive, so a lot of HP, and all these say that, right? So healing scales with this character's max health. Blah, blah, blah. Heals all team members at the end of the round. Okay, but again, this says all healing based on max HP. So, you want a lot of HP with him. You also want a small amount of defense with him. And speed. Speed is obviously useful. I don't have speed boots. It's pretty hard to build speed in this game. But speed is not quite as essential as it is in other games. Obviously, abilities are max. This is the very first thing I do. Max the abilities of everyone I'm using. It's fairly easy and gives you a massive bonus, right? So this increases healing 3 times and reduces the cooldown by 2. So this was normally a 7-turn cooldown. Yeah, so this helps a lot. This is more healing. For this one, it's just damage, which is kind of useless. But he does have an attack down. So I do build a little bit of focus on him. So you can see focus gives you a chance to apply effects on others. So it's like accuracy in most games. So I do have a little bit of focus on him to land debuffs. Okay, so that's my healer. But before I had him, I'll show you someone I used who's actually pretty cool. Marion, level 50 elite unit, easy to ascend. You do want her to be the 5th ascension. So she does need to be level 50. And basically the only thing I'm using her for is lifesteal of all team members is increased by 15%. It goes up to 25% when she's the 5th ascension. So this is what I'm trying to get. And the other useful ability she has is defense down on her A1. You can turn off her other abilities, right? So if you turn off her other abilities, she will only use this ability, and she's just there for the lifesteal, right? So she'll always put defense down every turn, and she gives lifesteal for your whole team. I'll show you how I have her built. So the best way, if you want someone to stay alive, is to use this revival set. Restores 8% of max HP at the start of the turn, or 16% if below 50% health. So she doesn't do enough damage for her own lifesteal to keep her alive. So I use this set on her along with an HP set just to keep her alive. And she is actually quite tanky. I was using her in Tulpa 8 and 9, and she never died once. So this is a good way to use a healer. Now, this gives you lifesteal for everyone. So usually what you do is you use 3 damage dealers. And I'll show you the damage dealers that I have that are good for this boss. And I'll do some call outs on some other one. Obviously, fire units are going to be strong here because they're strong. And you can see I have a lot of fire units. I prioritized fire units in the beginning because Tulpa has the best gear. I mean, the gear that I want to farm a lot. So, Balbarith actually is pretty good. He does a lot of damage, and when he dies, he uses his ulti. He comes back alive, uses his ulti, and it hits very hard. He does a solid amount of damage. He is usually right behind Zachary in terms of damage, depending on when his ulti goes off and whatnot. Zachary, though, is who I'm using for clearing waves. I have my best gear on Zachary. I basically use this same gear set on either Zachary or Hydrisia, depending on the element, okay? So if I need a fire element, I use Zachary. If I need a water element, I use Hydrisia. I'll show you my stats real quick. You can see I have a healthy amount of attack. I have a little bit of speed, but I have 100% crit rate, 222% crit damage. And yeah, that's all. That's pretty useful there. Okay, so he's very cool. He's going to clear out your waves. So I will show you the team I was using on Tulpa 9. It'll be pretty quick. So the old team I was using before I got Blackhorn up and started using him, I got 3 copies of Blackhorn. So that's the reason I was using him. And he's kind of useful because he'll tank. So I think it was 8 I was doing in the beginning with just my other team here. I'll show you this one. It'll be a pretty quick fight. So I'll pull out him and I will just show Marion in there. You can use other people. I'll go through some other people that you can use for this, but Asrina and Zachary and Balbarith are very good choices for this. I'm using defense down and increased attack, and I'll show you why. So when this is on auto, let's just show you how this run goes. This team is pretty easy. You can do this with basically all level 50s. You probably want Zachary to be 61st, so he's useful right there. So he clears the entire wave. You can see he puts attack on himself. He clears that, and then since he killed someone, he gets the big AoE attack, and that finishes the second pack. So that means no one has used their abilities but Zachary. So that leaves your other team members to use their ultis on the boss. You can see I will turn off her abilities just by clicking the portrait there. And now she will put in her decreased defense every single turn, which is very cool. And you'll see, so he took some damage, and now watch when Zachary goes. Boom. He heals himself a little bit. It's nothing massive, obviously. But yeah, it's enough to keep the team alive. So Marion, very cool little support unit. You just basically use her as just to get lifesteal. Asrina does some good damage as well. I will show the damage meter after this. Since Zachary cleared both the waves himself, he's obviously going to be, you know, higher on the damage meter compared to the other ones who didn't even get a chance to attack yet. But let's see what kind of damage everyone did, and we'll just see the loot real quick. The loot's usually garbage, but, you know, once in a while you get some very nice pieces. Yep, all garbage. Okay. So there's the damage meter. You can see Zachary did the most amount of damage. Asrina and Bulb did roughly the same damage, and Marion did basically nothing. Okay, so let me talk about some other units that are good to use in this dungeon. That was my strategy, and I rushed fire units, and I got a lot of copies of Marion, so that was pretty easy. But let me talk about some other units that I've heard are good in there. I have not used. Someone had told me that Aurak was a decent unit for damage, single target damage. He also has this ability here that gives defense down for 2 turns, which is pretty cool. I think he has 2 abilities that put defense down. Yeah, he has 2 abilities that have defense down. So he is a reliable unit to stack defense down. He also has some lifesteal in his kit. So when he does damage with his A2 ability, he gets some health back. I think this unit might be viable for Tulpa for sure. Yeah, enough about him. There's another unit that I've heard is pretty good, and that is Thomas. Thomas is another fire unit. He also applies defense down, and it's the rank 2, so it's the 50%. It's the bigger decreased defense. And I think he does some pretty solid damage. That's what I've heard. So I have not used this unit, but other people have said he is pretty solid. I don't know if this remove positive effect works on the shield. I kind of doubt it. But yeah, that's that unit there. Who else do we have that's useful? You could do poisons. I haven't had too much luck with poisoners in this game, but there's a couple decent poisoners. There's Goobag here. I feel like you need an excessive amount of speed to make Goobag really good. I heard poisons only do 1% of the max HP, but if you can get a lot of poisons stacked up there, then it might be a viable option. I have not tested it, but I've heard others use it for Tulpa. Raven is a more free-to-play friendly unit who does poisons. She has an 80% chance to land poisons when she's fully booked. And you can actually just turn off her abilities like I showed you earlier and have her only use her A1, which will just throw those poisons like crazy. So you can mix someone like her with Santilli, another unit. Santis, I'm sorry, not Santilli. Santis, right here. Santis, this unit is a poisoner as well. Pretty cool, especially if you pair her with another poisoner, because you have this ability here. Attacks against an enemy affected by poison have a 50% chance to apply an additional poison. This goes up to 100% if you can get Ascension level 5, which is obviously very difficult for epic units right now. In the long run, it might be a lot easier, but for now, it's pretty difficult. She has a lot of other abilities that do poison. She even has one that puts poisons on all enemies, which is pretty crazy. And she even spreads poisons to other people using this ability here. So great poisoner. Poison is another strategy, and it works. Okay, so those are a couple strategies for Tulpa. I just wanted to make a guide on this because Tulpa, I believe, is some of the best places to get gear. So if you go, you can see you get the health set, you get the speed set, and you get the crit rate set, which are all very good sets. So this is a good boss to farm, as well as you will need to do it for the quests here for Conquered Dungeons. There's a lot of Tulpas in here. Tulpa 1, 3, 5, 8. The only thing I need to do now is auto Tulpa 11, which is going to be rough, but you get some decent rewards here. So, this one, I got a full set of 5-star gear, which was pretty cool, just for autoing Tulpa 8. And you get a random Epic Plus Hero once you get 11 down. So, yeah. Okay, that's it for my Tulpa guide. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go down there, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and have a great day, everyone. See you guys.